Right now, there are over 8 billion humans on Earth. We build skyscrapers, launch rockets, and dominate the planet. But if you go back roughly 900,000 years, that entire global population plummeted down to just 1,280 people. Humanity didn't just almost go extinct, we were literally one bad week away from never existing at all. For centuries, we had no idea this ever happened, but modern geneticists, looking deep into human DNA, recently uncovered a terrifying scar in our bloodlines. It's called a genetic bottleneck, a moment in history where humanity was squeezed through a tight needle's eye, and almost nobody made it out alive. So, what went wrong? How do you wipe out nearly 99% of a species that was already surviving across multiple continents? Was it a massive asteroid? A global plague? Or did the planet's climate turn against us overnight? The truth is actually way more terrifying than a sci-fi movie. Around 930,000 years ago, during the early Middle Pleistocene transition, Earth went through a brutal climate shock. Ocean temperatures dropped violently. Lush African paradises turned into dry, cracked dust bowls almost overnight, destroying entire ecosystems. Plants withered and vanished. Game animals died off or migrated thousands of miles away. For early human ancestors like Homo erectus, finding a single meal became a daily death match against starvation. Every sunrise brought one simple question: who dies today? To put this into perspective, according to a landmark study in the journal Science, our entire species was reduced to around 1,280 breeding individuals. That's not a city. That's not even a small town. That is literally smaller than the student body of an average American high school. When a population drops that low, a silent killer emerges. In breeding, with so few potential mates across the entire planet, harmful genetic mutations began spreading like wildfire, threatening to break our DNA beyond repair. And this wasn't just a tough weekend. This near-extinction phase lasted for over 100,000 years. For more than a millennium, humanity hovered on the absolute edge of total erasure, waiting for one single bad storm to finish us off. So how did this tiny, fragile band of humans beat mathematical impossibility? They were forced to invent something brand new, not stronger muscles or sharper teeth, but extreme, uncle cooperation. Instead of competing, these last survivors began pooling every calorie, guarding each other's sleep, and sharing fire like sacred treasure. Extreme climate pressure forced us to become the most social species on Earth. To survive in a world where everything wanted to kill them, these 1,280 survivors needed game-changing tech. They didn't have claws, but they mastered something even deadlier: crude stone blades, specialized wooden spears, and early fire control to transform raw meat into dense brain fuel. Physical tools weren't enough. They needed complex communication. Scientists believe this extreme pressure accelerated the evolution of early language, complex vocal grunts and gestures that allowed them to organize hunts, warn of danger, and pass down life-saving knowledge. Equipped with fire and language, small groups could now outsmart predators 10 times their size. Instead of being preyed upon by giant hyenas or saber-toothed cats, these coordinated bands turned the tables, driving deadly beasts away from precious water sources. Think about the sheer fragility of this moment. If a single severe drought wiped out just 2 or 3 key tribes, or if a deadly, localized virus spread through their small camps, the entire story of humanity would have ended right there. For over 100,000 years, our ancestors refused to die. They survived ice, starvation, and genetic decay. And then, after 100 millennia of darkness, the global climate finally began to shift. Around 800,000 years ago, temperatures stabilized and rainfall returned. Freed from the climate trap, the population didn't just recover, it exploded. The 1,280 survivors began multiplying, pushing out of their small refuges and spreading across continents. Armed with new social skills, weapons, and fire, these expanding groups traversed vast deserts and crossable sea straits. They adapted to freezing mountains and dense jungles, proving that what didn't destroy us truly made us unstoppable. This bottleneck didn't just change our history, it changed our biology, because every single modern human descends from those exact 1,280 survivors. Humanity today has shockingly low genetic diversity compared to other primates. You can literally test this right now. If you compare two random chimpanzees from the same forest, they have more genetic differences than two humans chosen from opposite sides of the planet. We are all distant cousins of that tiny, desperate band. Every obstacle you face today, every achievement in human history from the pyramids to space travel exists because 1,280 brave, starving humans refused to give up in the African wilderness almost 1,000,000 years ago. For decades, archaeologists were baffled by a mysterious 100,000-year blank spot in the fossil record. Almost no human fossils were found from this period. Now, we know why. There simply weren't enough humans alive to leave fossils behind. How did scientists solve a 900,000-year-old cold case? Using a revolutionary genomic model called FitCoal, geneticists analyzed the DNA of over 3,000 modern humans, tracing our family tree all the way back to that single catastrophic bottleneck. Some scientists believe this extreme survival crucible didn't just almost kill us, it created us. The intense pressure may have spurred the genetic evolution that eventually gave rise to Homo sapiens, our bigger brains, and advanced problem solving. Think about the wild irony. The worst climate disaster in human history became the exact engine that forced our ancestors to innovate, cooperate, and ultimately dominate the entire planet. Mathematically, humanity shouldn't be here. The odds of a tiny population of 1,280 individuals surviving a harsh, changing world for over 1,000 centuries are practically zero. You are a living, breathing statistical miracle. Imagine if those 1,280 people hadn't made it. Earth today would be a silent world of wild forests and roaming beasts. No cities, no technology, no history, and no one to tell this story. Knowing how close we came to absolute zero is a sobering reminder for our modern world. Climate shifts, solar flares, or nuclear threats mean humanity is never truly safe from facing another bottleneck. It also proves that deep down, our modern divisions are artificial. Whether you live in New York, Tokyo, or London, your bloodline leads back to the exact same campfire in Africa nearly 1,000,000 years ago. Our ancestors survived 100,000 years of extreme hardship because they chose unity over conflict, sharing over greed, and adaptability over extinction. That is the true superpower of the human race. So the next time you look in the mirror, remember, you are the product of 1,280 stubborn survivors who refuse to fade away into the dark. Don't let their victory go to waste. Subscribe for more crazy stories of human history.